Working class beer reviews. It's looking at real American beer, light beer brewed in the USA. This is a beer, I'm guessing, in the spirit of Hulk Hogan. I'm sure he endorsed it when he was still alive. He passed away back in July, late July of 2025. So he's off, he was an American icon for pop culture from the 80s, 90s, all the way up until the moment he died. Mainly the 80s and 90s, maybe 20 or 2000s. 12-ounce can. I actually bought a tall boy of this back in August of last year, and I ended up giving it to my cousin. He thought it was cool. I was going to do a review, but I was like, I'm sure I'll find it. Then I didn't see it for a while, and then I saw this at Walmart. Bought a 12-pack for like 11 something, like 12 bucks. So fair price. Do not know much about this beer. It is 4.2% alcohol. It's a light beer, brewed and bottled by the Real Americas, La Crosse, Wisconsin, and under special agreement, Chicago, Illinois. 110 calories, 4 grams of carbs. So fairly low carbs. The calories are not quite as low as Michelob Ultra or Bud Light or anything like that. A little higher, but 4 grams of carbs is fairly low. Budweiser comes at like 10, if you're counting calories. Get you one more good look at the logo there. See him holding the American flag. He's got his bandana on, flexing all his big muscles. Yeah, big wrestling icon. Started in the late 70s. I think he's from Georgia or something like that originally. And when he passed away, he was living in Florida, Clearwater, something like that. I'm not real familiar with that area. So this is a pint glass. It's able to fit all 12 ounces, so in there. Yeah, as a kid growing up, I was a big fan of the WWF. I remember watching him on television in the early days. Yeah, he was a big deal. He really was. It's kind of weird that he's gone, but that was so long ago. Obviously he hasn't been wrestling in a long time. Always been involved in wrestling. I remember when he lost his championship belt to the Ultimate Warrior in WrestleMania 6. I want to say that was like 90, 91, something like that. That was a big deal, but they were giving Ultimate Warrior a big push. He was kind of the popular thing at the time, and Hulk Hogan was going on to do Hollywood stuff. He did that movie No Holds Barred. Remember that movie? And it seems like he did like a nanny type movie. A lot of them do that nanny type movie. So he played Thunderlips in Rocky 3. Yeah, Rocky 3. That's the one with Mr. T in it, I want to say. So yeah, he's been in movies. Big, tall, blonde-haired dude, very photogenic, very charismatic, very popular. And yeah, I don't know. So La Crosse, Wisconsin. This may be a city brewing type thing. Chicago, Illinois, Goose Island. That could be Budweiser for all we know. So what do we get? Definitely doesn't hold a head very well. Very light, golden. Still some streaming bubbles though. Still got some carbonation. Let's give it a smell. Let me look at the date on this. 2745 LAX 205505 FL. LAX, I don't know what LAX, FL, Florida maybe? I don't know where this came from. It smells like paper. Yeah, kind of a cardboardy paper type flavor. There's a wasp out here. It's in like late February, and it's getting really nice out. This weekend is supposed to be in the 70s, upper 70s actually, which is like ideal for me. Today it's going to be in the late or upper 60s, maybe lower 70s by the time it's all said and done. So I hope this wasp doesn't land on me. Get out of here, bud. Smell isn't great. Gotta be honest with you. And if I don't end up liking this beer, it has nothing to do with my point of view of Hulk Hogan and all the his accomplishments and controversies he's had in his life. Let's give it a taste. This tastes like it was made of all extracts. No whole grain. I feel like this is a beer that if I bought a home brewing kit, this tastes like a home brewed beer. Kind of. Yeah, it's very thin. Very papery. Not great. And that makes me sad. It makes me sad. I would love to have a beer that would just hold up to the legacy of the person they put on the can. And oh, here's some. It says America's at its best. America's with an apostrophe S, like plural. At its best when never mind. America's at its best when united. Okay, I get it now. And if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's the simple pleasure of sharing a beer. That's why we started Real American Beer, to bring people together one beer at a time. Signed, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. Man, yeah. Big part of my childhood growing up. Not my favorite beer, unfortunately. So, but when I saw it, I knew I had to review it. I knew I had to try it. Kind of wish I just stuck with the single if I could have found it and not had to worry about the 12-pack. Cheers to Hulk Hogan, I guess. Didn't have. I finished it. It's fine. It's not horrible. It's just not great. It's drinkable. I will finish the 12-pack. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Something like this, if you have a cocktail recipe, like a beer cocktail, michelada or chilada, something like that, or a shandy, be a great beer to do that with. Cooking, if a recipe calls for a bottle of beer or a can of beer, this would be great for that. It'd be fine for that. Beer bread recipes, anything like that. Beer cheese, anything like that. Yeah, cheese dip, beer cheese dip. Yeah, you could use something like this. Anything that calls for a recipe for a light beer or any sort of beer. Lager. This is a lager beer. I thought I had one in the chamber. I'm not going to waste it if it's not going to work out. So, yeah, it could be used. It's not bad. You know, I've had bad beers. If you go back and watch my Axe Head malt liquor recipe, or not recipe, but my video, that's a bad recipe. I will say that. Ugh, that's stuff. I couldn't even finish it. It was awful. So, yeah, it's not much I have to say about this. It's a decent beer. I mean, not decent. It's an okay, drinkable. It's not going to win any awards. If you want to just buy it for the nostalgia, I could say go ahead and do it. It's you can spare the $12. If you can find a single for $3 or something like that. There we go. That one's for Hulk Hogan, right there. There you are. There's a symbol in the middle in gold. I can't really tell. Oh no, it's Hulk Hogan's face, like a silhouette, the side of his face. And if I get a little closer, you see that. So with his bandana, it's kind of, yeah, that's all that is. So, yeah, I mean, it's a gimmick beer, and these things come and go, and it's one of those things there's people that won't even notice it was here, and then when you see this can, if you keep this can for your collection, you'll be like, wow, where did you get that? Like, it was around for a little bit. So it's probably somewhere in 2025 you'll have seen it, and it's now early 2026. I would be surprised if it lasts beyond this year. So now that he's passed, if it was a really good beer and it caught on and people loved it and it was really tasty, I could see it actually lasting a little longer. But they just kind of wasted the gimmick on a cheap beer, and it's probably gonna just evaporate into obscurity, you know, and you'll be left with this can. You know, it's unfortunate. You lose an icon like that, and they leave their mark on society, on pop culture, and this is kind of, I wish they'd have done better, you know. But I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of people out there that are just fine with it. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Drink what you like. But anyway, if you've had this beer, if you've seen it, if you have any memories of Hulk Hogan, WWF, WWE, whatever it is now. Originally, it was like WWWF. It was back in the territory days. And if you're a long-time wrestling fan, you'll know of that. That's from like the 60s all the way up into the early to mid-80s, before WWF became a thing. Each part of the country had their own little territory. You had Crockett, before like WCW and all that. So if you watch the Iron Claw movie, I don't know if Hulk Hogan was portrayed in that movie or not. No, Ric Flair was. So that actually wasn't a bad movie. If you like wrestling, you're a fan of that. So anyway, thanks for watching this, guys. And let me know what you think of it. And I will see you guys later.